change resonated and ran from Negril Point to Morant Point. It traveled on the crest of the waves. The ceaseless flow of the wind became rooted and grew with the blue maho and was reflected in the silence of awed faces. It was independence for Jamaica. The work towards independence, while it culminated on this day, August 6, was a journey that spanned over centuries from the time Jamaica was ceded to Spain to her referendum on the West Indies Federation. I am Adrian Atkinson. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine's Independence Day Special. In her independence message to Jamaica, Queen Elizabeth II, represented by her sister Princess Margaret, applauded the newly founded nation for their tolerance and spirit of cooperation. His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, Jamaica's 6th Governor General, reiterates this spirit.
Fellow citizens and friends of Jamaica, as we reflect on our journey as an independent people since 1962, we know that despite the problems and hardships we have faced, we have much for which to be thankful. The bedrock of positive energy in our national philosophy, derived from our flag, our motto, our national pledge, and our national anthem, explains why we have kept this ship Jamaica afloat and why we shall attain our vision for our beloved country. Our flag reminds us daily that the sun shines, the land is green, and our people are strong and creative. Our motto reaffirms that regardless of our historic origins, or economic status, or religious and political beliefs, our gender and age, we are one people. Our national pledge speaks to our destiny under God to increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity. Our national anthem reminds us of the source of our strength, our wisdom and vision, our direction, and our protection. People often speak of the resilience and the indomitable spirit of Jamaicans, and we see that demonstrated time and time again in our response to natural disasters and personal tragedies, in our agricultural sector, which, thanks to our courageous farmers, always strives to bounce back after being ravaged by disasters and human predators. In our business sector, especially the small and medium-sized, which constantly seeks new ways to confront the varied challenges and remain committed for the long haul. In our public sector, which recognizes the importance of transforming itself to better respond to the changing needs of our country, despite the ongoing pressure they face. In our security forces, who constantly put their lives on the line in accordance with their mandate to serve and protect our people and defend our territory. In our judiciary, which maintains high standard against all odds. In our media, which gives Jamaica a high ranking globally for press freedom. In our governmental, non-governmental, and voluntary organizations, which devote themselves to advancing the welfare and well-being of our people. I acknowledge that in every sector there are issues which are yet to be resolved, but I am convinced of our core commitment to building a better Jamaica. This fuels my belief that there is nothing wrong with Jamaica that cannot be fixed by what is right with Jamaica. Today, as we celebrate our independence anniversary, I thank all Jamaicans who contribute to a better Jamaica at every level, in communities, in rural villages, towns, and cities, in the leadership of churches, businesses, and all sectors, in the diaspora, and in the leadership of our nation. I encourage all of you to look beyond our present difficulties and work for the prize of which we dream. Jamaica, the place of choice in which to live, work, raise our families, and do business. We can achieve that goal. Let us believe in ourselves, remembering as our first national hero Marcus Garvey said, and I quote, "If you don't have confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you have started." I wish you a happy independence. May God bless Jamaica, land we love.
Jamaica's first female Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Portia Simpson-Miller, reminds us that our faith can sustain us while we face the challenges ahead.
My fellow Jamaicans at home and in the diaspora, I greet you on this, the 52nd anniversary of our independence. 52 years since our flag was first hoisted. 52 years since we assumed full responsibility for our national affairs. 52 years since that hopeful and expectant generation passed on to us the vibrancy of a dream of a new Jamaica. A Jamaica of equal opportunity for all. A Jamaica where justice would roll down like a river, and a Jamaica for which all of us could be proud. A Jamaica in which all of us could truly say, this is Jamaica, my Jamaica, a true ownership society. A Jamaica in which all of us would have a sense of place and belonging, not just a place of abode. Founding Father, Right Excellent Norman Manley put it well in speaking of his vision of this new Jamaica. He said, all efforts will be wasted unless the masses are steadily taken along a path in which they will feel more and more that this place is their home, that it is their destiny. They will then do more for it, work more effort, more thinking, more sacrifice, more discipline, and more honesty. There is a tremendous difference between living in a place and belonging to it, and feeling that your own life and destiny is bound up in the life and destiny of that place. What profound words! How deeply relevant to the theme of our independence celebrations this year. This is Jamaica, my Jamaica. It is only when we truly internalize the view that this is Jamaica, my Jamaica, that we can give our all to this rock. We have to unite for a common purpose. We must have a sense that we are indeed stakeholders. We have to take responsibility and be accountable for our actions. This is true sovereignty and independence. This is Jamaica, my Jamaica, means that in the face of our most severe drought in recent memory, we must take personal responsibility for conserving water. We must make the necessary sacrifices. The issues we face are national and broad-based, because this is our Jamaica. Each Jamaican must own and contribute to mitigating them. A sense of personal responsibility and ownership captured by our independence theme, this is Jamaica, my Jamaica, means that we take responsibility for our communities and help to keep them safe. Personal responsibility means that we look out for our neighbor and our neighbor's children, that we protect the weak and vulnerable in our communities and take care of the elderly, the disabled, the sick, and the lonely. The work that lies ahead in staying the course with our economic program that will lead us towards economic independence will require not only personal responsibility, but engaging human will. When I speak of human will, I speak of our will as a people to believe we can achieve and exceed the targets we set. It was the will of the enslaved people to be free that brought emancipation. It is human will that caused our heroes and heroines to do that which was necessary to build our nation. It was the will of the people ignited the passion for our political independence. It is human will that drives all movements for excellence, justice, respect, equality, and liberty. It was a common mission and the will of the people that brought people together to strive for political liberty and self-government. Human will causes our sportsmen and women to excel, our innovators to innovate, and our creators to create. I pause to recognize our sportsmen and women and commend those representing Jamaica at the Commonwealth Games for excellent performances. My fellow Jamaicans, it is human will that keeps us going, that explains resilience and prevents us from giving up and giving in as we make the necessary sacrifices. It is our will, our human will, to create a better Jamaica for all Jamaicans that will push our efforts forward, onward, and upward to the success of Jamaica, our Jamaica. The theme, "This is Jamaica, my Jamaica," impels us to have the will and responsibility. Give a fair day's work for a fair day's pay, and to maximize our productivity and efficiency. This is the only way Jamaica will be strong economically and increase our exports and foreign exchange earnings. Our fiscal prudence, our judicious management of our economy, as well as the reduction of our debt and current account deficits, is a demonstration of our taking our affairs into our hands. We can't be bystanders in the building of this Jamaica. We are all stakeholders. This is our Jamaica. It was the indomitable spirit of nationalism which gripped that generation, which bequeathed to us our independence in 1962. That generation believed passionately that we as a people had greatness inscribed in us. That generation believed the future favored us. It was a future that was being built steadily since the post-emancipation period leading up to 1938 and the birth of the modern labor movement, and then the thrust towards self-government. Our forebears were visionaries, men and women who lived and breathed hope and optimism. The Right Excellent Sir Alexander Bustamante believed in Jamaica and spent his entire life working for a brighter future for his fellow Jamaicans. He said, independence means the opportunity for us to frame our own destiny and the need to rely on ourselves in doing so. Former Governor General Sir Howard Cook, a stalwart of that generation which led the struggle for independence, was a relentless and tireless believer in the greatness of the Jamaican people. Today, we need to recapture that pioneering spirit, that spirit of adventure in building a Jamaica our children can be proud of, a Jamaica of righteousness and justice for all. We must believe we can do it. Norman Manley put it memorably. If we never desert our own principles, if we believe in what we are aiming at, if we appreciate those who regard this country as their home, if we can do those things and be true to what we believe in, and if we can combine this with hard work and practical intelligence, then I believe we will make this country a real place to say that we come from Jamaica. This is my Jamaica. My Jamaica means that we take responsibility for our families and our children, and that we instill in them proper values and attitudes. It means we become our brothers and sisters' keeper, always looking out for their good. That we become active citizens, deepening our democracy. That we volunteer in our communities, civic groups, churches, and civil society groups. That we always cherish hope, optimism, and we love. Our independence was hard fought, though no blood was shed. But people gave their lives for it. Let us not squander it. We must stand together as one nation when the wells go dry, when the fires rage, and the tempests roll. We must stand together in the knowledge that the difficulties we face are part of our historical struggle to build our nation. We have endured struggle and sacrifice in different forms in this our journey to growth and development. It is because we are free, independent people that we have an opportunity to work together to turn the corner. We must pull together, facing our challenges as one people for a common cause, because this is Jamaica, my Jamaica, your Jamaica, our Jamaica, land we love. I am reminded of that wonderful poem, litany written by George Campbell to capture the spirit of the independence movement. I hold the splendid daylight in my hands, inwardly grateful for a lovely day. Thank you, life. Daylight like a fine fan spread from my hands. Daylight like scarlet poinsettia. Daylight like yellow cassia flowers. Daylight like clean water. Daylight like cacti. Daylight like sea sparkling the white horses. Daylight like sustained blue sky. Daylight like tropic hills. Daylight like a sacrament in my hands. Let us walk into the daylight of a brighter tomorrow. This is Jamaica, my Jamaica, land we love. I thank you. As one Jamaican family, shaping the future together, let us celebrate our independence together. Thank you.
The public is advised that the following roads in downtown Kingston will be temporarily closed to regular vehicular traffic on Friday, August 8 for the state funeral of Sir Howard Cook. From 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., South Camp Road between Marion Road and East Queen Street and all roads leading on will be closed except for VIPs and other mourners attending and leaving the funeral. JUTC buses and others traveling from the direction of Up Park Camp will be diverted onto Marion Road and connecting roads on their outward journey. Also, persons will not be allowed to access South Camp Road from the direction of the sea, East Queen Street or Victoria Avenue. JUTC buses will access South Camp Road by way of Victoria Avenue onto Upper Elliotson Road leading to Marion Road. Only motorists attending the state funeral will be able to access North Street between South Camp Road and Duke Street, as well as all roads leading on. JUTC buses and the general traffic will be diverted left onto Duke Street. On reaching Hero Circle, they will make another left to West Hero Circle, right onto North Hero Circle, left onto Marasco Road, and left onto Caledonia Avenue Crossroads. East Street between Charles Street and South Hero Circle and all roads leading on will be closed to the general motoring public. Marasco Road between the corner of North Hero Circle and Connolly Avenue and Duke Street at South Hero Circle, as well as all roads leading on, will also be closed. Traffic coming from the Crossroads direction along Marasco Road or from Connolly Avenue will be diverted along North Hero Circle in front of Woolmer's Boys School to access Torrington Avenue or Upper King Street and onwards. On the day, Almontown and Kingston Garden residents will exit their communities by using Arnold Road, and if needed, can access Marasco Road from the east or north. Pay close attention to traffic wardens and abide by the temporary traffic changes this Friday, August 8, as the country celebrates the life of the late former Governor General Sir Howard Cook.
In reflection of how deeply rooted we are to this land, the Institute of Jamaica will be hosting their final signature conversations on August 10 on the Jamaican Maroons towards recognition of an indigenous people. Go out and participate in the discussion. We now hear from the leader of the opposition, Mr. Andrew Holness.
Independence marked a major milestone in our journey towards nationhood and the creation of our Jamaican state. That journey started with the arrival of Columbus in 1492 and the subsequent conquest, exploitation, and establishment of a system of enslavement and a plantation society under European colonial rule, which lasted for 470 years until our independence in 1962. After World War II, European empires receded as their economies and armies tried to rebuild, and nationalist fervor in the colonies grew. Colonialism, as a mechanism for social, economic, and political control of conquered and claimed lands, had outlived its usefulness in the context of emerging poles of power in America and Asia. The process of redefining the world order had begun with former colonies claiming their independence either through struggle or negotiation or both. Independence in this era did not mean that former colonies were now on equal power footing in the international systems. Though colonialism as a practice ended, imperialism as a political force would continue to drive the relationships between newly independent states and the established power poles of the world. For all practical considerations, independence is always constrained by our global relations and, more importantly, by our global obligations. For small independent states like Jamaica, the global context has a significant impact and poses serious challenges to our aspirations for self-determination and economic development. On Independence Day, 52 years ago, such considerations would not necessarily be a driving concern. It was a euphoric time when the ideals of building a just and prosperous nation were foremost in the minds of all Jamaicans. It must have been an optimistic time when our children believed that their future was secured. The independence decade was a period of economic boom, growth, and expansion, unparalleled since. It was a period of time when Jamaicans believed they were going to build a new Jamaica. Jamaicans were positive about Jamaica. Consider that more than 80% of the Jamaican population was not around when Jamaica gained independence. The values, dreams, and aspirations of the independence generation have largely disappeared. The positive and optimistic outlook is gone and has been replaced with cynicism and lack of trust. There's a great deal of uncertainty about our future. We have not yet realized the new Jamaica we conceived 52 years ago. What does independence mean to the post-independence generation of Jamaicans? What have we done with our independence, and what do we want to do with our independence? What is the spirit, vision, and ethos of the Jamaican citizen towards our country and our nation? Today, we must reflect on what has happened in the 52 years since independence. The post-independence generation of Jamaicans must now start the next phase. We must craft a vision for the next 50 years of Jamaican statehood. The youth of Jamaica must become more vocal and active in defining the future that they would want to see for themselves. Those who prefer to criticize Project Jamaica from their verandas, I urge you to rise up and, among other actions, walk to the polling stations. You can be a powerful force for change in this country. The post-independent leaders must emerge and take charge of piloting the future and rekindling the hope and optimism of Jamaica. Our independence is precious. Regardless of the constraints of the global order of things, within that global order, Jamaica has opportunities and prospects which we must use to our advantage to spur growth and development. For example, we have a significant and influential diaspora in the power centers of the world, which can contribute much more than just remittances. In our vision for the next 50 years, Jamaica must find direct and deliberate ways to include and leverage our diaspora. Brand Jamaica has been spoken about time and time again. It is very influential in sports, in pop culture, and in content generation for art, film, and music. The next phase of the independence vision must build an industry around this and secure the benefits for our people. We must take a second look at where our trading advantage lies. Historical and sentimental linkages may not be relevant or even useful in the changing world. Presently, our strongest regional political ties are not aligned to our largest and nearest potential markets. We must now seek to build stronger trading alliances with the Northern Caribbean region. And we must position ourselves strategically to benefit from the growth which will take place in Africa particularly. Finally, the leaders and planners for the next 50 years must commit to ending poverty in Jamaica. It is not an impossible task. We must first change our maternalistic outlook on poverty. We must come to the understanding that loving the poor is not enough. We must go further to lift the people out of poverty. And the poor must not shy away from their desire for prosperity. We must reject any excuse or any protector of poverty. We have no reason to be poor. On this Independence Day, you must reaffirm to yourself that we will build a Jamaica where every Jamaican can step up in a life.
I hope that you have been having a positive Independence Day, using the time to reflect on your identity as a Jamaican. Please share with us through our Facebook page or Twitter the significance of the day, and continue to tune in to our YouTube channel for other JIS programs. I'm Adrian Atkinson. In the words of Norman Manley, I remind you that new responsibilities are ours today as we go into the world to stand on our own feet and make our way forward by hard work and greater discipline.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.